The best of money matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hung Bin Jung. Singapore's real estate scene is evolving, but maybe not fast enough. Agents are experimenting with TikTok tours, YouTube explainers, and personal branding, but the structures behind them still look the same. Capped commissions, gate-kept media, and little room for long-term upside. It's a system that rewards transactions, not necessarily innovation. That's where Keller Williams Singapore steps in. Led by PropertyLimBrothers co-founder Melvin Lim, the agency had just launched a $10 million seed valuation with a promise to flip the model, treating consultants as business owners, not just salespeople. High commission retention, in-house media support, structured training, and even revenue sharing are all on the table. So how different is this, really? And can it shape the industry here? Well, joining us today to share more is Melvin Lim, founder and operating principal at Keller Williams Singapore. Hi, Melvin. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Hongbin. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, Melvin, you've already built one of Singapore's most recognizable real estate brands with PropertyLimBrothers. So what made you decide to take on the challenge of launching Keller Williams here?
Yeah, so when we started PLB Media, which we recently rebranded to MediaX, because now our entire media agency is of a certain scale and size, and having the experience since 2018, starting from home tours all the way to long short-form content, podcast, webinars. I think PLB has reached a stage whereby our team is greatly matured. We have been serving as consultants over the last 7 years. Keller Williams has really been a brand that has been very close to my heart, because 18 years back when I started as a single realtor to now a business owner, I actually adopted as well as tweaked a lot of the models and principles from the Keller Williams kind of model of running your real estate business as a business owner, not really as like a sole realtor, ever since 2018 till today. And I think over the last 2 years, the Keller Williams worldwide team from US, because currently they're still the largest real estate brokerage in the whole United States with over about 220,000 realtors, they approached myself, and of course we had this conversation for the last 2 years on how potentially this model can create, like, I wouldn't want to say like an impact in Singapore, but really like looking at the current gaps in the market. How do we value add to the realtors today? Giving them a model to shift from a salesperson mindset to a consultant mindset, embracing AI, embracing media, embracing property tech, and really looking at their business as a consultant plus a business owner. So that's what excites us, and that made us want to really launch this year in Singapore.
But why now? Why is this the right time to launch KW Singapore, especially with CEA's transformation agenda and Smart Nation roadmap underway?
So I think it's due to a few factors. I think largely because of our experience over the last 7 years with the media space, content creation space. We have also built our own tech team in-house, developed a couple of prop tech tools, really to value add to our consumers as well as to our realtors. And of course, PLB Realty is running on a very light strike boutique model. And we think that now with the experience that we have with the platform, the tools, as well as our social media channels and content creation ability, 2025 is really prime, together with the growth in AI as well. So AI, currently we are adopting in terms of using it for productivity, for creation of our tech tools. Our team is now very much into vibe coding. We code ourselves, and as well as in the media creation portion, the team is also enabling themselves to create a lot of media using AI now. So I think that with combination of factors, plus I think also with understanding the market a little bit better after 18 years in the market, I think currently in terms of all the large and small brokerages, everybody has been playing their part in the market. But I just think that this is really the right time for us to create maybe like a new way of doing things, to really empower realtors to help to serve their consumers in a better way. So I think 2025 has been really exciting, as we have been planning this for the last close to about 9 to 12 months before we launch in July 7th this year.
Okay, so my question now is, will KW, work alongside PropertyLimBrothers to dominate this real estate market, or would they be competitors?
Oh, so PLB runs on a very different model. In fact, a lot of people, when they come to our office, when they look at the structure that we have, they were very shocked to realize that actually we have more media staff than realtors. So we have about 65 full-time realtors now in PLB Realty. In our media side of things, we have about close to 90 people people. They run multiple YouTube channels, social media platforms, and content creation daily, plus a lot of digital funnels and all that. So we really run like a very light strike boutique fashion. They are of a different split system, I would say, because in terms of lead gen, media support and all that, that is all provided for our realtors at PLB. I wouldn't say that they are competitors. I would say that KW is on a platform model where we are empowering realtors to become business owners. So the split system is a little bit different. In fact, for PLB and KW, they have already collaborated on certain developers projects and they're working alongside one another.
Okay. So are you aiming to attract primarily newer consultants who want infrastructure or, seasoned agents looking for independence at KW?
In fact, we were quite surprised when we launched on the 7th of July 2025. Initially, we thought that KW is going to be very attractive with a first realm of rookie realtors coming in. Now we have already surpassed 100 realtors since about 8 weeks since we launched. Surprising, I think 80% are experienced realtors. And I think they are really looking for a shift to how to think as a business owner, learning from the KW system, the ecosystem of the tech, the media that we have. And I think we still have about 20% rookie realtors that are being attracted. So I think over the next 6 to 12 months, it's going to be exciting on the different demographics that we're going to see.
Right. Well, you mentioned there a lot of people who came to KW were seasoned agents. So, Singapore already has a few mega agencies with strong footholds. So what do you think makes KW's proposition strong enough to persuade agents to switch?
So I think firstly it's really about the new transformational mindset of looking at this business as a very long-term, consistent growth model. Not really like a one-hit wonder whereby you come in and close some deals or being a part-time realtor. I think this model really attracts people who wants to build a very solid, consistent business. I always say that realtors have a very anxious life because their schedule is flipped from the normal 9 to 6. And of course, weekends are being burned, night times are being away from family. Sometimes running this business as a solo realtor can be really lonely. So this model, I think, is really about the education part, changing the mindset to look at this business by building your systems and structure on how to calibrate a very consistent, healthy business. So I think that's number one. Number two, I think realtors are being attracted because of the few economic models that we have. So we have a 90 and a 94% split system in terms of commission being earned in a singular year. Once they hit a certain threshold, they will be so-called being able to enjoy a 94% split in the 12 months calendar. There's also, of course, the usual manager overriding as a coach. Plus, there's a new way of earning revenue share through recommending like-minded realtors into the KW ecosystem. This revenue share goes basically a long way because this really reduces the pressure of being a manager, but really focusing on your business, but just sharing with like-minded realtors about the Keller Williams system. Like if they think they're a right fit to come over, then they can just recommend and they can enjoy like an introducer income.
Okay, it's very interesting how just a switch of a model have these different benefits. So I want to know, walk us through what that really looks like for someone on the ground, right? How would their day-to-day experience differ compared to being at a traditional agency?
So we focused really a lot about how do you become a consultant in this new era? How do you craft a niche in terms of your positioning in the marketplace? I think what a lot of realtors are facing now is that there's this issue about differentiation. So, for example, in the first 10 over years as a realtor in the market, I was running a solo model. But I realized that in terms of differentiation, when I walk on the streets, I think even myself unable to calibrate like a positioning in the market. Like, am I good in landed properties? Am I good in commercial shop houses? Who am I serving? What is my target audience? And how can I better my expertise for this core growth audience? That was when we started the home tour kind of concept in 2016 December and really formulated the niche positioning model. So I think from a day-to-day, a day in the life of a realtor in KW, they're very much into crafting their positioning, selecting their niche, who do they want to serve. And then by this approach, they reverse engineer and then upskill their level of skill sets. For example, if they want to focus on landed properties, then once they have decided in terms of content creation, skill set leveling up, this will then take place on a very consistent basis. Apart from that, day to day, they are creating content, filming webinars, doing podcasts, creating long short form content, really to educate with free content value through different social media platforms. And I think we are already in an era of content creation, and we want to create this success environment that our KW realtors will have like like when they banter with all their associates in the whole KW ecosystem, everybody is talking about content creation, how to give free value, how to create better kind of positioning, how to level up themselves in terms of education. And I always share with them, consumers have accessibility to all kinds of tools nowadays in terms of data, charts, analytical, prop tech tools. And if realtors don't shift from being a transactor to a consultant, sooner or later, they're going to be disrupted. And we definitely have to continue to level ourselves towards the consultant way.
So does that mean, you've mentioned that this is a new era, right? And then you mentioned about the era of content curation. So is this a key skill that all property agents or, consultants must have? Do they need to be a content creator in a way as well?
That's a great question. So in KW, when we were thinking about this approach, firstly, we come from two approaches. Number one, we share with our associates that in this era, content creation is like maybe 15 years ago, where you used to throw a lot of mailers and flyers, but now short form content is just like throwing mailers, but you are really respecting where consumers are putting their attention to. If consumers are putting their attention to their mobile phones, then let's create content that value adds to them, which I think is a core skill. And we will share with them this approach that in the absence of, let's say, two realtors, one is a good, hardworking, ethical realtor. Maybe the other realtor is really just here for the one-time fast game business, but maybe having some unethical practices. But consumers will find it very hard to differentiate because consumers usually differentiate by who is a better marketer. So good realtors should be very good marketer because they should make themselves known, easy to be found by consumers. And when consumers find them, then they can deliver good work. So a good realtor shouldn't be shy. A good realtor should really put themselves out there to create good, free value adding content. Second approach, basically, when we were thinking about this, of course, we recognize not everybody will have a very short runway to be able to speak in front of the video, in front of the camera, in front of the iPhone very quickly. So we created this concept called the KW gig economy, whereby we are on a roadmap to empower our realtors with 100 good vendors that can come in to create short, long-form content, provide spaces for filming podcasts, digital funnels, helping to film home tours. And through this gig economy, we can also provide some level of QC in terms of quality control to our associates, and then they can work directly with the vendors to create content themselves.
Okay. Well, I see a lot of, these house tours on TikTok. Sometimes they're not even talking. They're just showing me different rooms of the house and then telling me how much this places cost. Yeah. But do they actually work? I'm very curious.
Great question. There's this term by Gary Vaynerchuk, which is like the godfather of social media, right? So he says that nowadays in this new era, short form content creates attention, but long form content creates conversion. I would say that all forms of short form content, once they have engagement, it works. Of course, the example you mentioned will be content that maybe the host is not even talking, using AI captions, right? Just walking through the house and all that. I wouldn't say whether it works or doesn't work, but naturally, as long as you show good, beautiful homes or landed properties or mega mansions, you get a lot of view counts. But whether at the end of the day, does it work or not? I think some of them do, but maybe some of them don't. What I was sharing with my realtors is that if you were to create content that consumers can also create themselves, because technically speaking, if let's say a homeowner runs her own social media feeds, and let's say a homeowner has a lot of followers on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they can also walk through the home themselves. They can use AI captions to film a short form content. So what makes you different from what a homeowner can do? So I think importantly is that how do you value add in terms of content creation by really giving a lot more value, talking about numbers, data, investment frameworks and concepts in your content as well, apart from just showing the home, and really differentiating yourself from what a homeowner themselves can do in today's era.
Well, is this all what you teach at KW Training Academy as well?
Yeah, so we teach them both, of course, on the PLB level as well as KW. KW has, in the last 8 weeks, focusing on a lot of workshops and masterclasses. So we just completed our Realtors branding workshop on how do they find their niche and create content on a very consistent level. We also have consultants training, how to look at charts, data, analysis, and formulating investment frameworks that is sound and also non-biased. And I I think in terms of the educational approach, it is really about branding, realtors positioning as well as a consultative level.
Right. I mean, we've talked a lot about what this means for consultants in this new model that you have at KW. But what does it mean for consumers?
Yeah, I think for consumers today, I think what they really want out of a realtor is no longer a transaction kind of work. Transaction basis, we term it as a transactor business, mainly largely managing the property, opening of doors, doing physical viewings and all that. I think what consumers want is a combination of a few things. Number one, they want a realtor that has outreach in terms of their own brand. That means they will be looking at how many followers or what is the engagement level you have on your own social media platforms. Number two, they want to know whether are you a good content creator or marketer, because this is in a process of digitizing a physical non-movable property. Because a property in the olden days, you can only have exposure when buyers come physically for viewing. But how do you digitize it in a very engaging way and outreach it through social media ads for the owner? Number three, I think owners are really looking at whether do you have the consultative mindset of looking at numbers, frameworks, investing in the right way, and not just sharing with them information like, hey, this is the brochure, this is the fact sheet, this is the pricing. What do you think? I think consumers are really like wanting to know what is your advice and opinion. How do you analyze this number? Is there a pricing gap? Do you think I should invest in this season? Do I need to wait for the next federal rate cuts? How do you see the market next year? I think everybody is hunting for somebody with an opinion and a very sound framework.
Definitely. Well, I mean, KW Singapore launched with a $10 million seed valuation. Congratulations, by the way. So what underpins that valuation, and how do you see the economics of a global franchise model playing out in a market as small and competitive as Singapore? How would you define success?
Yeah, so we wanted to launch it this round compared to when we started PLB without any fundraising. So this time around, we launched a seed fund valuation from like-minded investors, really like our key supporters.
Right.
And that is with a goal, of course, with maybe another 2 rounds of fundraising over the next 5 years. I think it is really for us to invest more deeply into media, AI, as well as prop tech. But we want to take it in a very consistent growth manner. We also hope that perhaps in the next 1 to 2 years' time, in line with the CA movement, we want to be perhaps one of the first few brokerages to start a minimum transaction count for our realtors, because I think KW model is very prime for realtors that are very serious in the business. So we are really gunning for 80% full-time realtors within our ecosystem. Our current goal, of course, is to grow at a speed and pace that is in line with really helping our realtors to have more value for their consumers as well. What defines success, I think, over the next 1 to 2 years is really like building a very like-minded team, creating a very positive environment. They come to a space that speaks life, encouraging, and giving them a very healthy perspective of viewing this business as a solid business and doing good work for the consumer, and not really looking at this as a very anxious kind of model. So I think what defines success is really about the amount of people that we can impact over the next 5 years.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Melvin, for joining us and sharing us with more about KW Singapore.
Thank you, Hong Ping.
Thank you.
All right.
That was Melvin Lim, founder and operating principal at Keller Williams Singapore. This has been The Right Business with me, Hung Bin Jung.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.